Lesson 79, Factoring Trinomials by using the greatest common factor. So what this is about is when you have a trinomial, you want to look and see if you can factor out greatest common factor before you factor using the factoring methods that we've talked about. So I just want to do some examples here to show you what I'm talking about. So let's say we have to start with x to the fourth plus 5x cubed plus 6x squared. So if you notice, each of these has an x squared in it, so we can factor that out. We're left with x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now we can factor this trinomial by thinking of two numbers that multiply to positive 6 and add to positive 5. And that would be a positive 3 and a positive 2. 3 times 2 is 6 and 3 plus 2 is 5. So we just had to factor out that greatest common factor to begin with. Now you want to be careful when you're doing this that you remember to write that GCF in your answer along with the factored trinomial. So here's another example. Negative x squared plus x plus 56. I like to have my x squared positive because it's easier to factor. So if I take out a negative, each of these signs is going to change to the opposite. So I'll have a positive x squared minus x minus 56. Don't forget that GCF right there. And then we're going to factor, and we're looking for two factors of negative 56 that add to negative 1. Let's see, 8 times 7 is 56. We need the 8 to be negative and the 7 to be positive. That way when we add negative 8 and 7, we get a negative 1. So that one is completely factored. Here's another example. Negative 105k minus 14pk plus 7p squared k. So I'm going to look at this and say, okay, it looks like they all have a k. It would be nice if the p squared were first. And I'm wondering if 7 can go into 105. So I look here, 7 goes into 10 once, 3 left over, and it will go into 35. So I'm actually going to take out a 7 times k. Then I'm going to list my p squared first, and then the p term, and then the constant. So if I take out a 7k here, I have p squared minus, this is going to be 2p minus, and we said this was 15, yeah, 15. There's no p, so there we go. Now we're going to factor. We need to have our greatest common factor. We're going to have a p. There we go. We need to find out two factors of negative 15 that add to negative 2, and that would be 5 and 3. If we make 5 negative and the 3 positive, negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. One more example. We have 5t squared minus 35t minus 40. So we want to take out the 5. See, 5 can divide into each of those terms. So we have t squared minus 7t minus 8. So we have to factor. We need two factors of negative 8 that add to negative 7. Oh, so it'd be negative 8 and positive 1. So we put our t's right here. Negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7. And that's the end of the lesson.